Welcome to Turning Hard Times into Good Times. I'm your host, Jay Taylor. Really pleased to have Chen Lin with me once again. He is, of course, the editor of a newsletter called What is Chen Buying? What is Chen Selling? And you can subscribe to his letter. It is designed mostly for higher net worth individuals as well as fund managers and so forth, but it's also accessible to people of more moderate means, I would say. So it's chenpicks.com. And the name of the letter is What is Chen Buying? What is Chen Selling? Thanks for joining me again, Chen.
Thank you, Jay. Glad to be here.
Always good to talk to my old friend from, well over a decade now, Chen. We've known each
Yeah.
other
Oh,
and
long time.
done a
Yes.
lot of
Mhm.
things together over the years. I'm very thankful that we had a chance to learn to know each other. So I'd like to ask you,
Likewise.
what is your current assessment of the global economy and the markets now, Chen?
Oh, I think the global economy is deaccelerating in a rapid pace. We already saw one by one the consumer in United States consumer confidence it hit new low, and there is you can see the Macy's. All these stores are not doing well, and it looks like we're heading towards a downdraft right now.
So the retail investor, the average people in the country, not so well off. Is that what you're seeing?
The people are, yeah, the consumer confidence is low,
Mhm.
and the retail purchase, people just buy every day. They try to save money. They try to actually downsizing, or do those kind of thing, and it's already happening. You can see the Costco's comment recently, Walmart comment. Yeah, it's people are trying to save money for the hard time.
Yeah, it's the middle class that's been, having a more and more difficult time from inflation and for just to put just the things you have to have for life. Never mind the extras. So you think we're heading maybe towards a recession, possibly?
There's a very decent chance we're heading to to a recession. I hope not, but I
Yeah,
hope I'm wrong. But it
yeah,
just looks like.
it sure. Yeah, of course. And with that, Chen, do you think interest rates can come down, or we have a lot of debt to finance? The U.S. deficit is big.
That's a question. That's a question. I think we discussed that. The way the trade goes, just from you look at the Chinese leader perspective, the trade between U.S. and China going to be cut almost to zero. Eventually, going down is going down. So they don't need to hold U.S. dollar. They have over a trillion. So they could be problem. Yeah, with all the debt roll over, and the interest rate may not stay low. Okay, but one thing is good for gold. I see they will continue to buy gold, and let's see what will come up if they continue to buy this month.
Well, it's a huge amount of debt that has to be financed, and I understand there's a lot of still lower rate interest on the federal government's books that has to be rolled over into rates that are considerably higher than last year. So you would see with a tough recession, we might see rates come down, but maybe not this time, Chen. I mean, we would hope so for the housing market for a lot of reasons, but Mother Nature has its own ways. So we'll have to see where things go. Well, in your March 25th letter that you sent out to your paid subscribers, you talked about tariffs. You also talked about record high copper prices and some of the aspects, some of the drivers for copper's rise. What about tariffs? So let's start there with tariffs, the Chinese and Mr. Trump. What are you hearing? You have your ear to the ground with respect to China. What are the thoughts that you're getting from people over in China these days with regard to Mr. Trump's tariffs?
Right. I sent it out on Monday. At that time, the market was rallying. People were happy. I mean, it seems like they're going to be, maybe there's some, negotiation on the tariff. I basically told my subscriber point blank, there's no chance. I mean, from what I saw between United States and China, there's very little chance. And then both sides want to look strong. Both sides want to look strong. And then they also consider distrust between
Mhm.
each other. So from I checked on Chinese perspective was that fentanyl, okay. But even if we did that, there will be more things coming at us anyway. So why do
Mhm.
we bother to give in or look weak? Nobody wants to look weak. So that's the problem. It's heading towards larger scale trade war between United States and China, unfortunately.
All right. I think China said something about somebody from China. I don't know if it was Xi or somebody said, well, you guys want a war, whatever kind of war you want, we're ready, or something like
Yeah,
that.
or something like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
In the meantime, China has been building up a military at a very, very fast pace. So
No, they're building ships at a rapid pace, and we once did that too, but now we're building, very, very few ships. And China's, of course, they've been a net exporter, Chen. They've been producing more than they consume, whereas the West and the United States has been consuming more than we produce. So we have this huge debt. Not only do we owe it to ourselves, but we owe it to the rest of the world. So while the Chinese and Japanese and others have not been buying as many treasuries as they once did, they still own a lot. And so if those countries decide to sell, it could really put pressures on interest rates again, of course, and that's would be unfortunate from our point of view. But you mentioned also, with all of Trump's bravado, he likes to talk big and all that, and he talks about Greenland and Panama and Canada even and all these. I mean, who takes that seriously? I don't think anybody can take it too seriously. But you're mentioning in your letter that if Trump decides to get aggressive on Panama or Greenland or whatever, it might be that China would counter by maybe going into Taiwan, and that those kind of possibilities, if I understood your letter right, you're suggesting that may be one of the reasons why copper is rising. Did I have that right?
oh no, actually, I don't think that's related to the
Okay.
copper rising. But I'm just saying that for the China, Chinese, the Communist Party opportunistically should American, put the army into Panama or
Hmm.
Greenland. That will be golden opportunity for them to put my army into Taiwan. Okay, I have a lot of relatives in Taiwan. It's the last thing I want to see,
Sure.
but I just see it could be coming. Okay, so and that's unfortunate.
Yeah,
So,
it
and
would.
then what I'm saying was
Yeah.
that for the for the military, also people didn't realize that. So a lot of people don't see. Oh, the bullet shell casing are made of copper, and so is guns. Oh, this copper also big usage of copper is military. So if we
Mhm.
get into a hot war around the world, actually copper can double again. And so there's another possibility. I mean, there are people are calling on that. So today, actually, President Trump said that he will tariff on copper. Copper spiked to new all-time high and then came down. People use that to take profit.
Uh-huh.
Actually, it's a profit-taking day. So
Yeah.
actually, copper ended lower, and most of my copper stock actually went down today. So I
Today.
was hoping them to break out, but no, it's just up. They sell on the news.
It's the way it works a lot of times. Well, copper, of course, we've seen projections into the future of shortages of copper going forward. Of course, nobody knows the future. We hope we can avoid wars, and see peace around the world and see people prospering. Um, and that would be the goal, of course. We'll have to see where things go, but copper looks really good. Then you have some copper favorites as well. I saw, if I understood your letter, you talked about Hud Bay. Hud Bay Minerals is one company, trades on the New York Stock Exchange. HBM, I believe, is a symbol. And you seem to sort of prefer that over Freeport McMoran, maybe because Freeport McMoran is fully priced or more fully priced. Are those a couple of your favorite copper plays?
The copper producer, I
Yeah.
always like Hebei. I've been trading around Hebei for quite a few rounds. I've been buying low and selling when they getting to 10, close to 10, 9 or 10. And this is my third round trip. If I can do, I can get over 100% return for, round trip after round trip. I hope I hit the $9. That's my target and maybe close 10. So, but for hot bay, as part of it is built in America, right? So
Mhm.
mining in America. So they have this giant copper ore mine in Arizona, fully permitted. They're looking for partner this year, which is perfect if Trump put on the tariff. the value, the mine value in the United States will go up
Right.
because the copper will be more expensive inside versus outside. So hopefully they can, get a better partner, get more money, so on and so forth. Because right now it's fully owned by Hudbay. So I think that's a free option, right? Cool option.
So it's a really big project, I suppose. They're
Oh,
looking to
yeah,
grow
yeah,
that.
one of the bigger one. Yeah, one of the big one. That one actually got permit. There's others big project actually was not permitted. One is Northern Dynasty, but it got a big boost this week too because President Trump signed an executive order last week, I think, to boost the domestic copper and critical metal production. So
Oh, wow.
people get excited on that. So
So you think that the Northern Dynasty project could actually go forward? That big, what's it called, the Pebble?
Pebble, yeah, I actually
Massive.
met with this.
It's one of
Yeah, I
the
met the
a huge amount of
CEO.
gold there too.
Yeah, it's the largest. It's the largest undeveloped copper deposit in the world. Okay, largest.
But it has huge
Actually,
amounts of gold, Chen. It has huge
yes,
amounts of
copper
gold.
and the gold. Yeah, I have a good conversation with the CEO there at PDAC. We chat for a pretty long time. He seems so very optimistic. Yeah, this will eventually get permitted, and
Wow.
then he need to find a partner. Before, but of course, at a much lower price of copper and gold, Anglo America came in, right? And then
Yes.
they did it somehow they didn't like it, they drop it. So hopefully at higher price there will be more interest from the major.
All right. So what's your outlook for gold? I gather it's very positive from what you said.
Yeah, I think gold is as I said, the gold it has been staying above 3,000 for the how many days it is. The 3,000 is a major resistance,
Yes.
and then just the short just couldn't push gold below 3,000. You think about it, it tried to hit 3,000 a couple of times, and every time it bounced up.
Yeah.
So the longer it lasts, the stronger the breakout next leg will be. So I am quite bullish on gold. Of course, I like gold mining company a lot more because gold mining company historically, okay, has been this is very very cheap right now. It's just
Oh
if you
yeah.
look at the price to cash flow, price to EBITDA, price to book, price to NAV, it's all like the lowest in the past decades,
Yeah.
plural decades. So I think this is a good time. That's why I'm also heavily loaded with the gold miners.
Yeah. So speaking of a couple of your favorites, I believe Equinox may be one that you like a lot. It's one I like too a lot, Chen, because especially, well, they have a lot of projects and a big one in Canada that just started producing. But another one,
Greenstone, yeah,
the acquisition of Calibre Resources, if that goes
yeah,
through, would also be very good. I think I like that company. It's been one of my best performers, Calibre. Very well
yeah.
managed company, and they have a project in Newfoundland that looks extremely good. Looks like it could be very, very big. So you like that one a lot, Equinox.
Oh, I like that. I like the acquisition even more, but unfortunately, one of the largest, if not the, I think the largest shareholder of Caliber actually is protest. He think it's
Oh,
not fully priced, so that's only the problem. And I do not know how long it will be shareholder vote. I think in a month or two we'll see. I mean, they
mhm.
need a 66.7%. So yeah, that's
Yeah.
the problem.
Well, I kind of feel that way too, as someone who's really fallen in love with Calibre. It possibly could get more, and maybe there will be some competition for it. Who knows? And
Yeah,
all
yeah,
right,
that's a possibility. Yes,
possibility. So
but
far,
I think what can happen with the Equinox came in at a very opportunistic time. Because Calibrate probably is short on cash. You
yeah,
look at that, right?
right,
They're short on cash. They need a little bit more money to finish the mine,
right.
and then Equinox come in and say, okay, why don't we just merge? What a
I
great
mean, 'cause
move!
yeah, it's gonna. Well, they have good cash flow from their operations in Nicaragua for sure, but it's going to take a lot more capital probably to use. This is a big mine they're building in Newfoundland.
Exactly,
It'd be big.
exactly. So actually, Equinox provided them a loan, so they can continue building the mine well the merger going through. So we'll see.
Getting their hooks in there for sure. And B2 Gold is another one you like quite a bit.
Yeah, B2 have this a new mine. Also, this will start pulling gold next quarter.
Mhm.
So it's yeah, new. I like you start a new project.
Yeah.
Okay, in this gold bull market, any company almost at the finish line starting a new project usually get the best. Okay, best appreciation. And silver space. I have silver crest. And
Hmm.
did got taken over very well. Gato also got taken over. Unfortunately, I don't own that. But it seems like if you build a world-class mine, you will be the takeover target. So
Hmm.
B2, I think they're building Goose project, and then the management is very competent. They have been building new mine with success throughout their history. So, and then if you look at the stock, it's about half of what it used to be. So that's what I like. I like cheap stuff. I
Yeah,
like
well,
I
and
like
B2,
valuation.
the B2 is a big investor in Snowline's Valley project, I believe, and
Yeah,
also in the project in South
in
America. Huh?
oh,
Fountain.
Finland. Oh no, okay, different. Yeah.
I'm trying to think of the name of the company right now. It's another one that
Hmm.
I follow that's done extremely well. Um,
Hmm.
anyway, so those are a couple of interesting things. What about silver, Chen? You've always been
Yeah.
a big silver bull, but
Oh
I
yeah, yeah.
feel maybe
I
more
love
bullish
silver.
on silver than ever right now.
I love silver because right now there's unbelievable amount of silver flying to United States. Silver actually is situation very similar to copper. Actually, gold already stopped flying to the United States. Okay, gold already stopped. You can see that. Silver has not. Silver continues to fly in. And then the open interest of contract open interest is sky high right now. It's going to have to be closed by the end of this week, I believe. So and then when last time this high open interest, the short got squeezed because all these lot of open interests are short, right? They have to cover. So it happened in 2020, July of 2020, silver went up more than $10
Right.
in 1 week period.
Wow.
So there are people already calling right now. Today is the 26th. Okay, it's Wednesday 26th. People calling next Monday, the 31st, will be Liberation Day of silver. So we'll see because all these short squeeze, potential short squeeze coming.
Yeah, that's liberation from the short sellers, the guys that have been pushing
Yeah, exactly.
the
So,
gold. Yeah.
we'll see if history is on our side. But it happened before. It happened about 5 years ago in 2020, in July 20, when the interest. If you look at it, you compare right now the open interest,
Yeah.
very similar. So there's a short hasn't covered yet, and they have a couple of days to do so.
But we'll see. Fingers
We'll
crossed.
see.
Fingers
Finger
crossed.
crossed. Yes.
And speaking of silver companies, Cerro De Pasco, silver and a whole lot more. It's one of your favorites. It's one of your favorites and one of Eric Sprott's favorites. Thanks to you. I believe you were instrumental in getting Eric to look at this story. But tell our viewers a little bit about Cerro De Pasco.
Okay, yeah, Cerro De Pasco, what it does is the largest silver resource above ground. It's a tailing, historical tailing. Okay, then the people will say, oh, a tailing, right? You will have we have other tailing projects doing so. Your century tailing, Australian, but this is oldest. Why oldest is better? Oldest, the older it is, the technology less they recover less.
Right.
Right. So actually there's more left in the tailing. So this is the oldest tailing on Earth. And then this is also the largest silver deposit on Earth. A silver above ground deposit on Earth. Once we get all the resource estimate coming out, it will. So and then the company, and then the beauty of that is no mining cost. No mining cost, and then you just pump it and then process it and then sell the concentrate. So they will be one of the lowest cost mine in the world, quote
Right.
unquote. Okay, and then also it will be most cash flow. The free cash flow will be enormous. So they're so confident. Company is so confident. I know Eric Sprott has been holding their hand. It's so confident they will skip the PEA, skip
Wow.
the pre-feasibility. They go directly to feasibility.
Huh.
Yeah, feasibility come out in a year or less. And then they use the feasibility, bankable feasibility. They're gonna get off taker to pay for everything. So
Oh,
there will
oh,
be
good.
no dilution.
Uh,
Hopefully, finger crossed. Of course, this depends on the relatively strong metal price, right? If you gold silver price collapse, of course,
different
that's will
story.
be more, yeah. So if at this current metal price or even a little bit weaker, it's okay. They can do offtake and they can sell a little bit stream. It's also okay. Before they want to take over everything, then there was the streaming agreement when they was taking over the whole Cerro De Pasco mine, right? So right now, Cerro De Pasco mine even in worse shape. So they don't need to pay. They don't think they need to pay. So they will one day they will get it for free. So that's their working on. That's another objective of the company. So it's not going to be a tailing 10-year, 20-year tailing process. It will be another 100-year process because this mine will be eventually taken over by Cerro de Pasco.
That's incredible. They also have they have a critical metal there, don't they?
Yeah, exactly. They have gallium there, and the
Gallium, right?
gallium,
And I
yeah,
think the gallium was similar in the amount of gallium, similar to the silver, even
yeah,
having more
silver
value.
price. And then it's critical to the United States. The gallium deposit there is the largest in the world. Actually, they can, if this get into production, they can supply the Western world for next 20 years, 10,
Is that
20
right?
years.
Yeah,
Gallium, yeah, that will be sufficient. Actually, that's actually very strategically
yeah.
important for United States. But so there's so many things good with them going on, and it's unbelievable. That's why I had a meeting with Eric Sprott at PDAC, and he wants to buy more. So he cannot buy more because he is over 20%. By
Mm,
law in Canada, if you're over 20%, you can only buy 5 times a year, 5 times. So he cannot even buy for 5 different people, 5%, 5 transactions. So only 1 person each time, only from 1 person.
oh,
So he cannot buy from open market, obviously. He will finish that in one day. So I gave him I have some warrants expiring this week. So
yeah.
I gave him a proposal, call him over the weekend. I said, why don't with this? I gave you my warrant. It's about very close in the money, maybe a little bit in the money, but I don't care. I just hand over the warrant to Mr.
Yeah.
Eric Sprott. Okay, why don't you take this? And you can do whatever you want. Now, of course, he's going to exercise it, and so
Uh-huh.
that's why one transaction he took 3.5 million shares.
Ah,
So,
wonderful.
but I can buy. I've been buying, almost daily
Mhm.
from the open market. So I can buy. So I don't need to
Yeah,
really,
right. They're not in history.
exercise those warrants. So actually, it's a win-win situation. So he got his share. I help him, and everybody happy.
That's quite a story. Well, we'll keep our eyes on that one. I should mention to my viewers that Chen, you also, I mean, we talked about producers mostly here today, but you also look at the juniors, the guys that are exploring and developing, and for regular paid subscribers, you have a lot of ideas along those lines as well. But I would like to ask you about a biotech stock because you have had an incredibly successful career with biotech companies. And the one I'd like to ask you about is Nervgen, because that's one I follow in my newsletter as well. What are your latest thoughts on Nervgen at this stage?
So they are going to have data either at the end of May or maybe early June, in June sometime. So it's about in a few months you will have release data. There has been, if you follow the public forum, public message board, you can see the patient one by one. They say what happened to them.
Hmm.
It's like magic. Okay, basically we're talking about the kids that broke their
There's spinal
spinal
cord.
cord. They're
Yeah.
parallel for the rest of their life. They cannot even move, right? Wheelchairs, and they cannot even move their toes. Sometimes they just very very difficult life. Okay, the actually they can start walking. There is one actually just posted this week say he can start driving now. So
Wow.
he's yeah, exactly. That's miracle happened. So, but this trial is 20 kids. Okay, 20. Notice 20 kids. 10 is placebo. 10 is with drug. So that's the question you ask yourself. Can this be placebo effect? So basically, you exercise and then you can improve like that. It never happened, Jay. It's never happened. But
No,
of course, they make maybe one outlier, but there's so many kids doing well. It's not one, two. I mean, I can count because each patient they have their account. Some are written that their parent, the mom, when she wrote, Clay Sharp mom wrote. I mean, you can see a live individual in front of you, and then they're improving. A miracle is happening. So I'm hoping in a couple of months we'll see. Okay, finger crossed. There will be yeah, very positive data coming out, and then they can go ask FDA, ask Trump administration to get accelerated approval
uh,
based on the current result, because those things never happen.
right,
You have a parallel person. You look at the Clay Sharp, his mom wrote. I also posted on the internet, public information. Okay, he has so much difficulty just to raise 1 foot. You need to basically need to raise a foot in order to enter the trial. It cannot be complete. They don't want someone. Well, it's just for their trial. Okay,
right,
criteria.
right, right.
If you cannot move anything, they think you may not get any result. So they just want you need to raise your foot. He tried for 1 month to raise his foot. Just think about it. Now he can walk.
Now I can
Why?
walk. Well, so Chen, let me.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but I know all these are injury happened 1 year ago. Okay, so
uh,
basically, when injury just happened, you may have some improvement. Within 1 year, there's some improvement. People know that.
yeah,
But after 1 year, there's very, very little progress. Everybody knows.
yeah.
And then there's so many miracle happen. It's not just one, there's
Okay.
multiple.
So let me
So
ask you, Chen. So
I'm
you said that.
confident this will be a positive data readout. We'll see. We'll see you in June, right?
Wow, that's not very far away. So, Chen, let me understand. There are 20 people in the trial. 10 of
20
which
kids. Yeah.
were placebos,
10 are placebo, 10
and
on
20,
drug. You do not know whether they're placebo
I
or they're
see.
on drug.
I see.
So I got is the public forum. I even become a personal friend, okay, with someone people on trial, which
Ah,
is
interesting.
sad because they're very open. Of course, they do not know they're on drug or not. So everything is
Yeah.
public, okay, everything is legal. So yeah, I can ask them how they're doing, and then they tell they have a lot of time because they're kids, right? So they usually have a lot of spare time. They can just describe what happened to them. You can feel vividly how much improvement they have.
Okay.
It's amazing, Jay. It's like a miracle. I'm very yeah. I would say I'm very, very bullish on this. I hope it will be a knockout success by
Well,
June. We'll see. Then
what's
we
the
open
market?
up a champagne.
What's the market cap in this company right now?
The market cap right now is 100 some. Don't quote me, but you can check on that. They're
Yeah,
100 something million. They have ATM open, but haven't seen the company using ATM
they
yet,
haven't used it
which
yet.
is a which is a good sign.
Yeah, sure, they
Which
haven't
means
used.
that they want to wait for data to come out to use, right?
Yeah,
That's a good sign, which means they
right,
are very confident. So far, I haven't seen that
right. So
because
they're avoiding massive dilution. If the news comes out and the data comes out, it's very positive. The stock should shoot up. And then if they
then
need
they yeah
finance
they do
for,
it
for
yeah they
finance for
that
a bigger
yeah
program, then maybe.
yeah yeah
Yeah, right,
yeah.
right. Well, it's very exciting, Chen. Thank you very much for taking your time to share these ideas with our listeners and our viewers. So always good to talk to you. And
Okay, great. Likewise, yeah, this one of many biotech ideas.
I
I just
know.
want to say, I also said in my newsletter, biotech has been terrible this
Yeah,
year. It's just one of the worst
so far
sector
this year, you mean
this year, and
2025?
then all the in the past few years, almost every year is bad, Jay. Almost every year. I'm very lucky actually. I kind of beat all the biotech fund. I mean, I'm probably the best performing biotech portfolio right now because I kind of there's some reason behind this, right?
Yes.
One of the reasons, if you see recently, Merck, they have this heart disease drug. Where did they license from China? So there AstraZeneca, there all these companies, they don't buy the technology. They buy technology from China now
Hmm,
because China start to get very good at it, just out of
really?
nowhere. Yeah, very good at those biotechnology. So I'm kind of saw that coming a couple of years ago. So I kind of avoid those sectors that actually have very strong competition from China. It's very unfortunate. I even comment in my letter recently as just one of the company trading at 20% of cash, 20% or 30% of cash. Can you imagine that? You cannot imagine that because people just don't think, they think China will destroy them. Seriously,
Yeah,
that's what the market condition right now.
well, Americans better get to work. They better start going to university to do things other than protest. They better go to learn their mathematics and their science. They better start to learn, take school seriously because the rest of the world, especially underdeveloped, developing countries, do. Don't fool around, and looking at TikTok all day long. We better get to work in America, or
Yeah, exactly. And also another thing is China's government actually very supportive of those small companies. And like here, our FDA, it's like they're like a king. They're like the emperor. They like to shoot company. They like to kill the company. It's like they're taking pleasure
yeah,
of
here in the
yeah,
U.S.
here in the
Yeah,
U.S.
right.
Exactly. So make it life very difficult for small company.
Yeah,
Actually, bigger company has better luck because they talk to FDA all the time. Small company, it's like you just present your idea to the emperor, and emperor then just throw it away. It's happened so many times to make it very very difficult for small company to succeed
yeah,
biotech in the United States.
yeah. Well, you've been a witness to that. That's for sure, Chen. And I remember, one drug that was for boys that were not going to live past the age of 20. You were an activist, actually, very much involved
Yeah,
and
yeah. Well, we
played a
succeed
role in
that.
getting
Yeah,
that. And
yeah.
so I know
We're
you
trying
were
to redo it now. Trying to redo it this year. I have, yeah. I'm quite excited. I hope, we will repeat the success.
wonderful.
Nervgen
Well,
is
it's,
one
it's
of them.
really
It's one of them. Yes. Mhm.
all right, Chen. Well, we'll look forward to talking to you about some of those things in the future.
Okay, great. Thank
That's
you.
download. Thank you so much for being with us again. Well, that's it for this week, folks. Next week, well, I really don't know who I'm going to have yet, but keep your eyes on your inbox. We'll have another important guest next week. So until then, goodbye and God's blessings to you.